So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for hanging in with us while we all kind of try to navigate what's going on here. We're just going to start by introducing ourselves. A lot of you guys may have met Ian. I'm going to let him start. I'm going to let him tee it off for us.
All right, some of you are new here, so I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Ian Scott. I was coaching at Common Ground last year. I coached a lot of children and future 36ers in the Learn to Play, so I've had a little bit of experience doing this. I'm originally from Nebraska. I graduated from the PGA Golf Management program at University of Nebraska-Lincoln, so I'm a Cornhusker. Go Big Red. I've been here in Colorado for a couple years now. I've worked in the ski industry as well as I worked at Columbine Country Club before coming here, and I'm returning this year because I really like to teach and especially like working with the kiddos. So looking forward to this year, even with all the craziness happening. I think we'll get through it just fine. And that's my brief story.
Nice, thank you. So I'm Maggie Hartman. I grew up in Denver, just south of City Park. I went to Denver East High School, played golf. I then went to University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, and I went through the PGA Golf Management program as well down there. While I was there, I worked at the Broadmoor Denver Country Club, the Colorado PGA, Junior Golf Alliance of Colorado, and a couple city courses in Denver. And then I come to you most recently from the first tee of Pikes Peak in Colorado Springs as the program director. So I was down in the Springs for like 7 years. Super excited to be back in Denver now. I've been a PGA pro for 2 years, and I've been having fun working with juniors since I was kind of a junior myself. So I love it. It's awesome. The kids are so much fun, and teaching them golf is such a fun way to connect and spend time with them. So we're going to give you a rundown today. A lot of it is in relation to the Op36 app and that technology and how you can use that year-round, regardless of what program you're in. So, you know, even if you're in spring, if you're in summer, no matter what session, this information is super important. And it's a lot of what you can use going forward as your child grows and develops in this program. We're also going to give you kind of some program overview of just general housekeeping stuff in terms of when we do get out to the course. So our contact info is here, but we can also share that with you at any time. So Ian is going to start us off here and share with you guys. He's our technology pro, so he's got you here, and so he'll start us off.
All right, thank you, Maggie. I think we had a couple people join on, so we're just going to go over a little bit about what Operation 36 actually is. So we're starting with this slide, which is kind of the initial issue of teaching programs in general these days, where we start off teeing off from way too far back, and you can see how many strokes they're taking. You know, we're hitting strokes out of the trees, we're hitting out of the sand trap, it's taking us 10 strokes to get in the hole, and it's just extremely frustrating. And I know if I had gotten started golf as a younger student and tried to do it like this, I probably would have quit myself. So we want to try to come up with a different solution to that. And also another issue with this outline, if you guys can see that, oh, go back real quick, Maggie. Thank you. Another issue with this is there's no plan with it. So what's going on here is there's a lot of hacking the golf ball around. There's not really an end goal in mind, unfortunately. And so that's another reason why it's frustrating, because it's going to be a while when you first start playing golf before you hit really good shots. You don't want to compare yourself to really good players initially. And that's why our starting goal is going to be shooting 36 or better. So I'll show you that on the next slide here. Okay, so this is the solution that we have to the initial problem of teaching, where we're focusing more on building their confidence early. So if you can see, the target score is 36. So you want to be able to complete 9 holes of golf and playing 36 shots or better. And one of the ways that we build their confidence up initially is to start at 25 yards. I don't know if you guys can see the orange dot right in front of the chipping green there, but that's where everyone starts at. And I do mean everyone starts at 25 yards. And I feel it's important to start them at that yardage because it's going to help them build up their confidence. And once they shoot that 36 target score or better, then they can move back to the yellow, which is going to be 50 yards. then it jumps to 100 and then 200, and it goes all the way back to the black dot, which is the tips. So if they started 7, 8 years old, they're going to be starting at 25 yards. But if they keep progressing with us through the years, then we hope to get them to the black tees and get them playing high school golf and maybe even college golf if they're really good. And it's also very simple. It's a very simple program. You don't have to worry about as many hazards or tree troubles early on when you're starting from 25 yards. And it focuses on the more important part of golf, which is anything that's about 25 yards and then chipping, putting. Focus on that a little bit more, and I think that's a better system. We'll go to the next slide. All right, so we have our 3 cores of the Operation 36 program. The first thing we have is on-course improvements. So I'll get into it in a little bit more detail later, but we have each semester we have 2 9-hole events, and that is going to focus around trying to shoot 36 or better. And 36, by the way, is not a random number. It's even par for 9 holes. So if you can shoot 36 or better, you're shooting at even par or even under par. So that'll be what their goal is. And we will be working with the students on the golf course as well, not just teaching them how to swing the club, but coaching them on the golf course as well. The second point we have a long-term curriculum and end goal. So one of the problems with other coaching programs is they have just a week-long camp, and we do have week-long camps as well, but we really like to try to encourage parents to be involved in this weekly activity that is a longer-term program. It's kind of like learning a world language. If you try to learn a world language in 1 week, just doing 8-hour sessions, you're not going to remember any of it. It's not going to work out. So if you learn a little bit each week and you practice it, then I think that will be much better for your child in the long term. And the third step to the solution is technology to motivate and track the progress. So we have the Op36 app that you can get on your phone, and you can also get on the website on your PC, and there's good uses for both of them. And I'll get into that in a little bit more detail here in a little bit. We'll go to the next slide now. Okay, so for the on-course improvements, we schedule regular 9-hole events. Like I said, there's 2 9-hole events per semester. We are talking about our spring semester right now. I think I'm talking to spring semester coaches, but we also have 2 summer semesters and a fall semester. So your child will get plenty of opportunities to try to shoot 25 or better, or sorry, 36 or better. And if you beat 36, then you move back to the next division, just like I said earlier. And you can see all our divisions on the right-hand side of the screen. You start at 25 yards, and then Division 10 is the last one at 3,200 plus yards. So hopefully one day your child will be able to work up to that. Next slide, please. And I'm just kind of reiterating what I said a little bit earlier, but our standard coaching for each semester is going to be 5 classes. And we also have the 2 9-hole events, just like I said earlier. And during the classes, we are going to be teaching them something new every week. We like to introduce it in little small increments, and we like to have them practice throughout. And what we don't have on here is our Saturday supervised practices. And we have that for all of them except for the future 36ers. That's just 1 class a week for them. But for the other classes, we have our supervised practice. And that's a great time to reiterate what we went over during our regular classes. They're not going to be learning anything specifically new, but they're going to be practicing in front of us coaches, and we will guide them as they complete their journey in that. So that will be really good. And if you look to the right side of the screen, we have our basic class structure. So the classes are an hour long. We used to have them an hour and a half long, but we felt like that was just maybe a little bit too long. We were kind of dilly-dallying with some things, and we just want to try to condense it down so we don't keep the education for too long. We want to keep it nice and short and simple so that they understand the material a little bit more better. So what we like to start off with, we first of all just make sure everyone's there and check in with the word of the day. We want them to learn core values on and off the golf course. So that's a very important first step. We also introduce the game and drill right off the bat. We want them to have fun at our sessions. We want them to learn golf, but we also want them to have fun while they do it. But in the middle of the class, we will actually give them the Op36 education piece, which I can go in a little bit more detail about what the Op36 actual curriculum is once I get to the technology portion. We'll teach them that as well as what they're learning. So whether we're going over putting, chipping, sometimes we'll use the driver or an iron. We'll learn about all that stuff. And then we'll revisit the game and drill that we just did, or maybe a slightly different one. And we'll have the students note how they improve throughout the class. And that's what we spend the last 5 to 10 minutes of the class on, is reviewing what we learned that day and have them go over what they did better. And that way the student will have a better understanding and there will be less confusion down the road. So next slide, please.
Nice. Yeah, I was just gonna chime in there with you, Ian. That's really good. I kind of wanted to share like how impactful that is as an idea, in the order of going game and drill and then the education and then the game and drill. A lot of junior programs and honestly a lot of education programs and just how we do education in general is usually we teach it and then we let them go try it. But it's so cool with kids and we just love this. Letting them try it first and explore it and discover it and figure it out. I mean, you guys all know as parents how powerful that is. So letting them figure it out. And then, I mean, as humans, we also, anytime we try something, we automatically try to figure out how we can do it better. So to give them that opportunity to try it first and then give them that education, and then hopefully there's like a click and some light bulbs and their skills just improve dramatically off of that. And then so having them do it again, it just really builds in their skill and the way that they learn it.
Perfect. Thank you, Maggie. So here is the fun part of the lecture today. We get to go over the technology guided training. This might be a little difficult to get a show of hands or anything, but how many people have actually have downloaded the app on their phone or have the website on their computer? Has anybody been with our program before this year yet at all? If you do, you can type in the chat if you have the ability to do that.
No, not yet.
Not yet?
That's okay. So if you do, now's a really good time. We're gonna give you guys a minute to open up the app if you're not on your phone with the Zoom, obviously, or a website or something, just so you can kind of go through this with us. So if you are on a computer, feel free to open that app or download it on your phone. If you don't have it and you'd rather just follow along right now, that's completely fine too. But we want to give you guys a chance to take a look at it with us and dive in and ask any questions.
And the name of the app is New Golfer Bootcamp?
Operation 36.
Oh, okay.
Good question.
OP36 Golf?
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
And just a heads up to anybody who may have just joined us, we will share these slides with you. And we also have this as a recording. So, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Assuming the username and password I already set up for Alex is probably what we use.
Yeah, maybe. This is Jeff. We missed the first like 5 minutes because we were not aware that there was a different Zoom. So I don't know if we're on the new email thread.
Okay, I'll make sure you're on that one. It should have been the same, but if you're getting a lot of emails from me, it might have gone to the clutter, but I'll take a look. Sorry about that.
All good. So I was hoping I could spend 5 minutes with you afterwards just to get caught up on the first 5 that we missed.
Perfect. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Cool. It's asking me to sign in twice.
Mine didn't, when I tried to sign it, it didn't work.
Hey, just a quick comment. I sent an email to your IT or wherever it is for the lost password, but your password reset link doesn't do anything. It just spins and spins, so it doesn't reset the password.
Interesting. We'll have to email one of the guys at IT and just see what's going on there.
Are you
Internet's
referring to the Op 36 or the Experience Golf website?
The app 36. So I forgot my password because it's been a while. So I just clicked on the reset password, and all it does is just spins and says sending, and it can't do it. So then I can't upload the app since I don't have my password.
Oh, got you. Okay.
We'll make note of that and get back to you with it, okay, Laura?
Thank you.
You bet.
Yep.
This is Jeff. I'm receiving a similar error. Like I can't actually install the app. It just says, go back to to sign in again, over and over.
Huh? Like in the App Store?
Yeah.
Oh, I got the download.
Okay. Well, that's huge. We'll definitely let them know. Thank you guys for telling us.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anybody that is in, or does it sound like maybe today is better as a follow along kind of day?
Oh, just got it.
Okay.
Login now. I don't know what your name and password is.
Oh, you got it.
Well, I thought it was your real name.
All right. Does anybody want to call out or put in the chat maybe if you have it up, or if you would prefer for us to get going, or we can hang on and wait for those. You guys tell us what you prefer. Okay. Ian, if you want to get started with this stuff explaining, and then we can definitely help tech-wise with this stuff going forward. If anybody has any questions, just let us know, okay?
Okay. So obviously it'll be a little hard for some of you to follow, so I'll try to go as slow as I can, and I'll try to make it as clear as I can. So I am on the Op36 app. So it's the app that you get on your phone. So my home screen looks just like the home screen that you see on the left side of the page. You can see the playing golf, training my skills, reviewing my goals, and viewing my curriculum. So that is going to be your home screen. That's where you're going to get kind of your summary, basically, how many points you've gotten. And I can go into detail on that a little bit more. But one of the things that's nice about the app is that you get points for not only playing golf, but also training skills. So that's one thing that's really nice. So if you were to click on the playing golf button that you see on the home screen, it'll ask you what course you played at, and it'll just ask for some basic information, and you can get some points that way. And if you go to the training my skills, which is the blue circle in the middle, you click on that and you can select what skills you worked on, whether that's putting, chipping, pitch shots, and you can see some of the options over on the right hand side of the screen. And that's one thing we really want to iterate with the kids, is that not only do they come to the practices that are scheduled, our supervised practices, our regular training days, and our 9-hole events, but that they also try to make it out to the golf course on their off days, because it takes consistent practice to get good at anything. So this is a great way to incentivize them to do that. There's tracking of all these points that you can compare with other clubs that do the same thing, and I can kind of show you that here in a different slide. But it's a good thing to get in the habit of trying to get out on the golf course and trying to record it. And that way your child and yourself can see their progress along the way. So I think that's a great thing. Does anyone have any questions about that before we move on to the next slide? Okay. I think we'll move on to the next slide then and get into the app. So This basically just goes over kind of what I went over before. You can play golf, you can practice golf, and you can log social challenges. With social distancing right now, some of those things are not quite something we can do right now, but hopefully down the road you can include things like watching a tour event and even like watching a pro practice or like playing golf with a pro. That can be another challenge that they can do. So I think that's a really good.
Oh. Hang on, Ian, one second. Hey, can you guys hear Ian, or is that just me? Oh, there you go.
I can hear you, but he dropped out.
Okay, Ian, just say what you were saying again. We kind of dropped you.
Huh. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So one of the things I really like about this program is it doesn't necessarily reward you only if you're good at golf. It rewards you more if you try hard. So you got to put in the hours and you got to put in the practice, and you'll end up getting a lot more points than just simply being good at it. So I think that's a good motivational tool to get out there and practice consistently, and that's going to improve your game a lot. Okay. There is also a community leaderboard, and let me see if I can find that on my app. Yep, so you guys won't be able to see this right now, but from your home screen in the bottom left corner, it says communities. And actually, sorry, you'll actually go to challenges. So if you go to challenges, which is just right next to that, you'll be able to see how other clubs are doing. So you might actually be able to see this on the next screen if you go there. No, we'll get there eventually. So what we're going to go over is next slide. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Maggie.
No, you're good. I was just gonna plug in really quick, you guys. These leaderboards are really cool, and it's something that we're definitely going to use a lot. So even if you're chipping at home or putting in the living room, you can put that in as practice, and they can get points not only in their class, but also the Experience Golf community, and then also on a national and global level with other courses and kids in the country, which is really cool.
Okay. So going back to the home screen, so basically the same home screen, there's a couple other tabs that you can click on. So the orange button in the middle is reviewing my goals. And so far, I have mine open and I don't have any goals right now. That's something that us coaches, if you want to work with us and set some private goals for your students, we can certainly do that. The main Op36 goals we'll be able to check out in a minute, and that's under the Op36 curriculum. But if you wanted to set some private goals, if you wanted to go beyond the regular program, that's certainly something that we can do. And then the viewing my curriculum, which is the 36 button on the right side of the screen there. You can click on that and it'll actually show you a lot of the levels. So there are 6 levels in Op36. It's kind of like the belts in karate. You start off with a white belt and you end up with a black belt. So most of your students, especially if they are beginners, are going to be starting in the orange rank. That's where everything starts. And there are 12 skills, and then there's 72 goals. And it's a little confusing if you don't have the app in front of you. If you have any other questions after this meeting, you can definitely get a hold of me. But I'll tell you the 12 main skills are going to be posture, power, grip, ball flights, alignments, putting, green reading, work ethic, performance, mastery, honor, and fitness and nutrition. So there's 12 of those skills, and those skills carry on throughout all the ranks. So there's different goals that they have for every rank. It steadily, progressively gets tougher and tougher as the ranks continue. And I think that's just a good way to give them goals to think about. You can certainly add your own goals later, but that's the Op36 goals that we have set. And it's important that they are able to show up for the 9-hole events, because beating 36 from 25 yards, you can actually see it on our screen right now. That is one of the goals on every single rank. So they have to do that in order to progress to the next rank. So that's why it's important to show up for the matches. And that's why it's also important to register for Op36 and get that sorted out, because if you don't, then they won't really be able to see their progression through our class. So that's As far as goals go, that's it. If we want to go to the next screen. Weekly program announcements. So let me go back to the home screen. There we go. So announcements are going to be so on the top right corner on your home screen, there's going to be basically a megaphone icon, and you'll click on that. And basically if we have like an announcement to make, like class is canceled due to the storms coming, or if we have to just kind of work around the storm since they tend to come in quickly and leave quickly, we'll be putting that on the announcements. And we will also send an email reminder when that does, but it's really nice to have this on your phone because it's a really easy app to check out once we get you guys signed in and everything, and we'll be using that a lot, so that'll be a good source to use. Next slide. So there's basically two ways you can get on the Op36. There's the app, and I would like to state that the website doesn't work as well on the phone as much as the app does, but the website works really well on like your tablet or your computer. So website for the computer or tablet, and the app for your phone. The app on your phone is going to be really great when you just need to check your progress really quick. If your child has a phone on their own at this point in time, that's a really good way for them to be able to check their progress on the course. And for the most part, us coaches are going to be putting in information such as their scores from the 9-hole events, as well as their putting stats, their greens and regulation, and just other things that they need to look at to know how they're progressing. And that'll show up on your feed when we post that, so you can see how they're doing. But a lot of the stuff that you do outside of class time is going to be up to you to put on the phone. And just from what I was telling you earlier with those buttons, it makes it pretty easy to add like 30 minutes of playing time or whatever you have to do. So that's why it's good to use both the tablet and the phone. So that's good right there. Okay. I know that was a lot of information, and it was really, really hard to follow along. If you have any questions, you can shout it out, or you can try to put it in the chat there as well, and I can try to answer them as best as I can.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ian. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free, toss them in the app or in the chat below the app, or write them down, and we will definitely have time at the end for that. So that technology stuff, again, just really, really important that you have that account. The family's created. Ian's going to talk a little bit more about the difference between the families and the account and helping you create those. We completely have your back in getting that stuff created. I know technical issues definitely happen, but it's imperative that you have that stuff before we get started, just because so much of the curriculum is in that app. And so we'll of course cover it in class, but it's huge in the learning of your child that they have it not only from us in class, but also in this app. Okay, so we're just gonna go through some registration stuff and just housekeeping in terms of the program and some outlines. So just getting started, the first step is the online registration, which everyone completed because you're here. If you ever are bringing somebody else to join the program, that's their first step, the Experience Golf website, registering for it there, and the payments. So you're all good with that. Number 2 is the preseason questionnaire. Everyone on here should have gotten an email from me probably sometime around the new year with a Google form. Some people have filled it out, definitely need some more people to fill that out. Primary reason, if you filled it out, you know that a lot of it is kind of safety stuff. So our number 1 priority in this program is safety, of course. And so in that Google form is emergency contact information, allergies, anything we can do to help your child learn better, and any goals that they have for themselves, or that maybe that you have for them. So that questionnaire just really helps us to kind of get to know them better and know the goals you have and what your family is wanting out of the program. Like Ian said, we're always happy to sit down and discuss goals further, but that questionnaire helps us. So if you haven't filled that out, please do so. If you need it, just shoot me an email, let me know, I'll send it over to you. It's short, I promise, it's not too bad. And then the third thing is this profile creation. So you do that on the website. A lot of you, I know we kind of mentioned you have that. But Ian, can you explain really quick the difference between the account and the golfers within the family?
Yeah, of course. So my email's already been going off with people creating accounts for Op36. That's awesome. I love to see that. An issue that we had with just a few parents last year was there was some confusion between setting up the account and the golfers. So when you first get the prompt to set up the account, you're going to put in your phone number and your email and put your first and last name and that stuff in there. And that basically creates a family administrative account, and you can control a lot of your account from there. And from there, it gives you a prompt to add a golfer. And it's imperative that you add the golfer as your child. Some parents may have multiple children spread throughout our programs, like one maybe in Learn to Play and the other in Train to Excel. So it's important to create separate accounts for your child as well. And it will ask for an email. They don't have to have an email. You can just put the same email that you put in for the administrative account, and that'll work just as well. So that's just an issue a few parents had. It shouldn't be a big deal, but I just wanted to put that out there because we did have that issue last year. So create the admin account first and then add however many golfers you have, and then you'll be set.
Awesome. Thank you, Ian. Okay, so checking in and out of class. When it comes to check-in, we will be checking in at the tree in between the clubhouse and the scoreboard. So there will be a banner there, but when you walk from the parking lot past the clubhouse, kind of through that concrete walkway, just that tree straight away right there is where we'll meet. We do ask that everybody checks their child in on the first week of class to check that emergency contact info, make sure your email is correct for cancellations or changes for anything, and then for waivers as well. We will start and end class on time. That's a big goal of mine, just to respect your time. I know you guys during the summer, there's swimming and there's tennis and there's all kinds of stuff going on. So we'll always start on time. We will leave from that tree at the start of class time. So if for any reason you're running late, it's okay. You'll just have to bring your child down to the practice facilities at the back of the range. And then we'll do our best equally to bring them back and have them back up there at that tree at the end of class time. So in order for that start and end time, and because with the travel to the back of the range, class ends up, we have to be efficient with the time that we have. And so if your child asks to go to the restroom in class, we always will take them. We'll never say no. But just for the sake of our coach to child ratio, we just ask that you, if necessary, especially if they're younger, just have them use the restroom before class. So big thing, just starting and ending on time, and that restroom before if you can. Okay, so parents, we love having you guys involved so much. Parents are the backbone of absolutely every junior golf program. You guys are the heart and soul of it, and we love having you. With the older classes, so that's everybody but future 36ers basically, we just ask that you're kind of at a distance. In my experience with some of that age group, especially like 7 to 9 or 10, 11, just kind of depends. If one child sees a parent that's not theirs, they can wonder why their parent's not there. It's just kind of a distraction just for some kids to, especially if there's separation anxiety going on, it's just kind of easier. If you guys are maybe at the clubhouse or kind of at a distance, you can watch. The first week, feel free to come check it out, see what we're doing. But it's also a safety thing too. Just with clubs being swung, we don't want any parents getting hurt or anyone getting hurt at all. But if you ever need to pull your child out early, or if you ever want to take any photos or anything, totally fine, just let us know. We will help you out with that, and we can have you come do any of that stuff. But for future 36ers, if you are a parent in that class, we actually ask that you are there, just because they love having you there, we love having you there, and it helps facilitate the class a lot. 9-hole events, so those are the events Ian was talking about, also referred to in the past as matches, so you may hear that this year too a little bit. So for 10 and under, we ask that we have caddies, and that's in line with the Junior Golf Alliance policy for their events. 10 and under can have caddies. After that, no caddies. So we're kind of staying in line with that, just in the event your child does play JGAC events. We just want to keep it consistent for them. But if you are spectating one of those events, you're more than welcome to help with pace of play, help with etiquette. We're not too stringent on the rules at this point, but if you do see something that you want to point out, you can. But just kind of goes back to the way that they learn with that exploratory discovery. You guys hear it with classrooms all the time, of course, having kids in school. But the way that we want them to improve, we kind of want them to explore it and discover it on their own. So that's just kind of the policy with that. Weather, pretty simple. A lot of tournaments call for, once lightning is 7 miles out, they'll go inside, seek shelter. For us as a junior golf program, sometimes with a bunch of kids, it's a little slower process. So we give ourselves 10 miles, gives ourselves a little bit more time to get inside. Just a heads up. And sometimes that feels far away. So if you see us coming in and it's like, what the heck? Why are you guys coming in? If it's 10 miles, we will. And all of our staff has weather radars on our phone where we'll get a notification if lightning strikes. Also a good idea if you guys are hikers, I recommend it. It's a helpful tool, but we'll have them in within 10 miles. And then if for any reason we do have to call a class for weather, it might be something in the afternoon, as you guys know, that's more likely. We'll tell you as soon as possible, but weather comes in and out really fast. So we'll try to tell you an hour in advance, but we'll just try to let you know as soon as possible. Hopefully, as you guys know, as soon as storms come in, they also go out. So hopefully this doesn't happen to us this year. Okay, so code of conduct. We just ask that your kids follow this during the class. I know all your kids are awesome, but just respecting themselves, respecting others, and respecting their surroundings. I especially might remind them of this if something is kind of off, and it usually helps, and usually that's that. So just so you guys are aware of it, that this is kind of what we'll go by in terms of our expectations for behavior in class. Okay, so the fun stuff. With our current situation with COVID-19, this is our game plan as of right now. As you guys know, it changes every day. So bear with us, and thank you so much for your patience to this point. So week 1, that's next week, starting on Tuesday, we'll be on Zoom. So our plan right now is that then weeks 2 through 5 will be at Common Ground, assuming that the stay at home for Denver and for Colorado stays as it is. If anything changes with that stay at home, and if we have to be on Zoom beyond week 2, all programs and all of your fees will be rolled over to another class. So that's our way. We want to support you guys as much as possible. We really want to help and continue to be here for you and your families. So regardless of what happens with Zoom or not on Zoom or on the golf course or not, or rolling things over, we just want to make sure you guys know that we're here to support you. We're here to support your kids. Use this app as much as you can. If your kid wants to communicate with us or still be chipping in the backyard and setting goals. I know that our team at Experience Golf, we can't help but chip golf balls in the living room and in the backyard and stuff because we're golf pros and that's what we do. We'd love to hear it if your kid is doing the same in between Zoom sessions for school. So always don't hesitate to reach out with us if there's any way that we can support them right now, but also at any time. So does anybody have any questions right now? Feel free to put them in the chat. Also, feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
Hey, I've got a question here just because we haven't been part of the program before, and my son's registered for the Learning to Play, and when I look at the calendar for that, there's 12 days, and I'm just a little confused between what is a class session versus what is a supervised practice versus what is the 9-hole
Event.
His scheduled time, so whether it's Tuesday or Thursday, that's a class. So that's kind of the breakdown we were going through of the drill, the education, the drill. So that's more of like the traditional kind of junior golf class setting.
Okay.
And then Ian and Elena, you might know that schedule better with supervised practices and 9-hole events if you want to help with that.
Yeah, the supervised practices are always going to be from 10:30 to 12 on Saturdays, and that's when we have supervised practice for all of our Op 36 programs besides the Future 36ers, like I was saying earlier. So if it's learn to play, train to compete, or train to excel, it's going to be 10:30 to 12, and we have quite a few coaches there to help out with that. And our 9-hole events are going to be every other Friday. So I'm spacing on when the first 9-hole event is supposed to be with the schedule being rearranged, but there will be one here in a couple weeks should be, and then the next 9-hole event will be 2 Fridays from then. And there will be 2 this semester.
Okay.
Does that kind of
you.
answer your question?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, good question. Thanks for asking.
I was going to also add that Maggie and Ian, for those of you that are on social media, have posted some fun games on our Instagram and Facebook accounts. You can follow us at Experience Golf. So there's some good things there that you can do with your kids while we're still at home. They've got some good games for you there.
Yeah, if you guys ever need more, just let us know. We have tons of them.
Does the sorry if I missed this, did you say the website or the app has a calendar of just all the different, dates I need to be thinking of in the future?
As far as on the app goes, I'd have to check that again. I believe on the website you should have a calendar of what it is. As far as the app goes, I'm not sure if it has the classes on there, but the website should have a calendar of that for you.
Okay, cool.
Especially
can
once you actually get signed up for a class, like once I start registering your student for the class. That's something I'm going to be doing today and tomorrow quite a bit of. Once everyone's signed up, I'll sign you up for the actual classes. So are you signed up for Learn to Play, Future 36?
Future 36. I was hoping to confirm that with you too.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you should be signed up for that, and I'll get those classes scheduled and get you signed up on that, and then you'll be able to see that on the calendar on the website.
Cool.
So just to confirm, this is Laura Maresca Harrow. We are already signed up, but I'm not seeing anything on the website. So are you saying even if we're signed up, you'll get that entered today?
Yes, yeah. So we don't have them signed up for the actual class yet. You're signed up for the Op 36 program. Once I have them signed up for the actual class, then you'll be able to get notifications on that. I just wanted to wait till after the parent meeting, and once more people have signed their student up for Op 36 to actually put them in the class. So that's what I'll be doing. And you should get a notification when I actually sign them up. What class are they in?
I can't even remember, to be honest with you. I have to go back and look.
Oh, that's okay. We'll figure that out, and we'll get them signed up for that class. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, it might be helpful just to add that when you registered your child, it's through the Experience Golf website where you registered and payment. The Op 36 app is completely separate, so they're 2 different things. They're not tied together, and then Ian will get you into the actual class. It's more for tracking and following the curriculum, where the website was more the scheduling and registration. Hopefully that helps clear that up.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions out there? Well, I would say I want to make sure to thank you all for being with us. This is some challenging times, and I want to give credit to my junior coaches here. I didn't introduce myself at the beginning. Elena King, I'm the Director of Instruction, owner of Experience Golf. Super happy to have Ian back with us this year. He did a great job last year. We're happy to have Maggie with us, and they have worked very hard and continue to work hard every day, bobbing and weaving and pivoting to try and get this program out for the spring semester. And I just want to repeat what Maggie said, that we're here to support you as much as you need. If for whatever reason we're not able to complete this spring semester, your complete payment will go towards another semester. It will not be any loss of credit at all, because we want your child to participate and continue golf for a lifetime. And that's why we love the Op 36 pathway, because it is a way for kids to learn the game and continue to grow versus just here's your junior class and then we're done. So much of junior golf was just one and done programs. So we're thrilled to have this pathway, and we hope that your child will be with us for a long time to learn the game for a lifetime, so you can have great family events. Maybe they want to play in high school, maybe they don't, but as we all know, golf is a game for a lifetime. So thank you for bearing with us through this time, and look forward to meeting you all in person very soon.